Thank you a lot for inviting me. It's a really pleasure. I will use a little bit of help of my notes and my coffee. Just last night, I'm really jet lagged and I slept only 2.5 hours. I want to, keep a really good flow. Today, I want to share a few of my thoughts, a few of my, personal stories around passion and around creativity. I picked a few stories totally aside of my tech experience. I'm a CEO and co-founder at Silvair. We incorporated Silvair in 2014. 2018, we went public. At Silvair, we believe, maybe just give you a brief introduction, that any building can be smart and sustainable. We are a purely software company from Krakow. I mean, most of our team is here. And we work on the software towards energy efficiency and comfort of the user of commercial buildings. So I'll be happy later on to discuss either any topics around passion, around creativity, as well as entrepreneurship or being a public company. Okay, so let me start from my earliest days when I was a teenager. It was actually late 80s, early 90s, and I was really passionate those days around music. And those days, late 80s, early 90s, there was bands like Pearl Jam, Guns N' Roses, remember Slash, so everyone was really excited about the guitar players. And those days, I got my guitar. I was like I really wanted to, play the guitar. And so I took the guitar and started to learn different chords. And for those of you who went through that process, you know that initial process is really painful. Your fingers, there's a lot of pain, But you are so excited when you hear, the first sounds that you do more and more and more. And your fingers hurts more. But obviously you start playing better and better. And first year of my high school, I met 3 other guys who were really excited about playing on different instruments, and we started a band. So I was even more excited, So we had a bass player, we had a drum player. We have a keyboard player, and we play we were so excited when we had the chance, to meet together and practice. So I remember my hometown is Kołobrzeg. It was a little town north of Poland, and in the town hall in the basement, so we had a chance to do our practices. And I remember that feeling. It was like nothing alike. It was I was super excited. And I remember when, the owner, whoever it was, kicked us out of that building. A friend of mine, he found a place like 25 kilometers outside of Poland, this little village. And we convinced our parents, they drove us with all those, instruments, guitars, We were sitting in the car. It was really, inconvenient. And we drove there because we really wanted to practice together. And actually, when I recall, it was like my first such a amazing excitement to such a degree, to such a level. I really remember that feeling. And in '92, I moved to US as an exchange student. It sounds fancy, US, but it was like in the middle of nowhere, Michigan, snowing, a lot of agriculture areas. So I went there, and in high school, the first thing, I joined the jazz band. But somehow, I don't know, maybe it wasn't that music, maybe it wasn't those people. I also switched the guitar from to a bass guitar. Something went wrong, so my excitement, my level of of enjoyment went down. But at the same time, remember, I was in a different country, different culture, a really weird kid, long hair, and I remember I started to enjoy math more and more. I met a few amazing people, amazing teachers who introduced me to that area, to that field. And I remember I started to have the same feeling I had playing the guitar in Poland, joining these math classes. I remember those computational mathematics. I also remember the first day I was introduced to the fractal theory. And then I found out that actually mathematician who actually worked on that, Benoit Mandelbrot, he was born in Poland. So I felt, oh my God, I'm Polish, he's Polish, there's a lot of connection. So I felt even more excited, about that. And so I study a lot, with that. I was like really into that. And then I even, applied to MTU, Michigan Technological University, as a math major. I was accepted. And in '93, I came back to Poland to visit my parents. I didn't see them for a year and a half to see my brother. He's somewhere over there. Remember, it was '93, so I got home and I got a ticket to the army. So I said, hey, you either go to college or you go to the army. I said, oh my God, I just found it, math, that's my future, MTU, and I'm not, not going to enjoy army, come on. So I decided, to go to college, to Poland, to avoid the army. And it was August, so not so many choices. And I found physics at the Jagiellonian University here in Krakow. And I was like, it's close, math and physics. So I applied, I was accepted. And another magic thing happened to me. I came to Krakow, and initially you need to sign up for different, courses, like your language course, etc. And on the first day, when I was in Krakow, standing in the line, I was discussing, and I met the girl, and we start to, date. And my whole plan, just dropping Krakow and going back to US, somehow, and didn't actually work out because, August this year is going to be 30 years. I'm with that girl, and we got 4 children. And this is like another passion. We love to cook together, travel together, and also all those things. So with those 3 different, stories, let's call it this way, it's good to answer the question, like, actually, what's the passion, And for me, the passion is like a really strong, really high level of excitement about doing something or about someone. You can call it love. And what I found out later on, that actually it's everything because of the hormones. Actually, one of the hormones which is really responsible for that is called dopamine. Dopamine? How was it in English? Dopamine, yep, dopamine. So this is the hormone which is actually gives you that pleasure, that gives you that excitement about that. So, and when I started to talk with a number of people about like what's your passion, and some of people, they got this impression like with this heavy load, it's like, oh, passion, whoa, it's something really huge, I need to think about it. And what I found in my life, it's like, passion, it's like I was exploring different things, and somehow I, fall into that. And I felt that level of excitement, which I call passion. And, in one day, it might be, playing the guitar, and the other day, it might be math, and it's nothing wrong with that, with changing. For me, it's nothing wrong with changing that passion. And I will come back to that hormone, to dopamine, later on. And sometimes, you can either, for me, it's extremely important to go out from that comfort zone and start to explore. Because how we can actually, find out that we're passionate about this one or we're passionate about this one, You need to actually, as I described or try to describe in those examples, to feel it, to sense it. And there's no other choice than try it, So for example, if someone is asking you, hey, so maybe we can go, hiking over a weekend. I say, oh, no, I do not hike. So how do you know? How do you know you do not like it, I made that mistake many times in my life, and right now I'm really paying attention to to avoid that, try new things, and not saying, hey, I do not like it, I've never tried it, So I really encourage you, to try new things, and then you can sense it, either it's for you or it's not for you, and you can basically feel it in your body, it's a pretty strong hormone. Also, I remember the time, some of you know, like I'm really passionate about old vehicles, and I remember the time I was really, dreaming about the old Ford Mustang, like 65, 66, I was like browsing different photos, watching that, watching different people and videos. I almost felt that that is going to be like a huge excitement. And a few years ago, with my colleagues, we found like pretty unique vehicle in the US. I was actually owned by a Ford engineer like for the last whatever years. It was like a pretty good barn find, like a great condition, great shape. And I said, yeah, let's buy it. Let's bring it to Poland. Let's enjoy. And I was like so excited, and I remember when I sat down in that vehicle and I started to drive it. It was terrible. It's like a marketing product. I mean, for me, it was terrible experience. And I said, oh, we need to sell it. So sometimes, you don't know unless you do not try it. And I discussed with my friends in Bay Area. I said, no Mustang, Porsche 911, man, that's the thing. So I was like a little bit more smarter, a bit smarter than so I went and did a test drive. 74 Porsche 911, bad thing, the same, it's like, I remember we went with my son, and he was actually two of my sons, and one of them, he was sitting on a back seat, not possible. So as I said, I got a big family, it's not possible to drive that car, it's not enjoyable at all. So my point is, we need to try, we need to envision, we need to try it, we need to sense it, and sometimes we go wrong, but in terms of that passion, it's extremely important for me, what I've learned, is to try it and to feel it. Let me talk a little bit about creativity, and I will try to connect those two dots somehow. So I remember, continue on my story from my early days. Year 1994, I really wanted to be creative. I decided I will be creative. So those days, I really enjoyed, I'm still enjoying that, doing different photos. I used my camera with all these, analog processes. You need to go to the dark room. You need to spend some time. You need to, do this C41 process. You need to be really patient, and at the end, you got it. So I applied in 1994. I was in Krakow, and I applied to Art Academy for the photo department, and they accepted me. So I met this amazing person those days, Professor Zbigniew Łagodzki. And I really, hope that that's the place when I will learn creativity. And my feeling was like I'm almost there. And so we started, And the first session, the first assignment, and I remember the first assignment was, do something abstract. take a photo of something abstract, bring 3, prints to me. And I did it. I took my camera, took 3 different rolls. For younger people, one roll is 36 frames. And then I went through that old process, analog process. I went to the darkroom and showed it to my master, those 3 images. And he says, I remember that he was looking at those images, was like, not good, not good. And his advice was, you need to come back. I mean, go again to the city, but leave your camera here. I mean, you need to sense, you need to see, you need to look, you need to experience, you need to feel the things and collect all those pictures in your brain. It was pretty weird, but I did it, It was a pretty weird experience. I tried to look at the different people. I was sitting at the bench in the park, looking for people, looking at birds, And after a week, I came back, I'm ready. I went to the process, I'm ready. Take your camera, go do it again, connect the dots. And I went, it was a little bit different than during the first week. So also I went to the darkroom, made my 3 prints, show it to the master, and master said, you're getting there. Do it again, and again, and again. Collect the information, sense, what I'm calling right now, take the information and put it in your memory bank. And what I've learned from that, and I actually structurized that later on, because what happened? What is creativity, actually? It's a rearrangement of existing element into the novel combination. So I remember, and I can connect those dots right now, that the things I was missing, actually, in my experience, was those existing elements. I wasn't able, to see. I wasn't able to sense. I wasn't able to collect the information. I wasn't able to, build that memory banks for future novel combination. So now I know that there's actually a 2-step process. First, you need to have all those, dots, have all those, memories or feelings or whatever, pictures in your brain, and then you can rearrange them. But you need to have something. 1996, I started my advertising agency. An advertising agency, week to week, is actually, creative work. We got a number of those clients. I work for Frito-Lay, for Orlen, KFC, Unimil here, number of different, projects. Week to week, you need to be creative. So how do you do it? I remember those lessons from my master. So at the beginning, we started to collect the information. We collected the information from, a target audience about the product, the problem, specific products trying to solve. And collecting those information with our own experience, with the team experience, actually was extremely important in that creative process, connecting the dots, rearranging those information into the novel way. And I also remember that some of the projects went really smooth, and some of them, they were like really tough for us. We couldn't work on the ideas we love enough, to present it to our customers. And some of you probably know or are familiar with the Huberman Lab podcast. Recently, the guy covered creativity, and he was talking about this, converging and diverging processes. So collecting the information and processing the information, processing the dots. And I recently found out that the same hormone, which is responsible or with passion, with love, dopamine is responsible for those two processes with creativity. So I'm connecting my dots when I'm recalling those days that we were passionate in some process, in some of those projects, and our dopamine level was like really high and it wouldn't smooth. And some of them was like a project for a customer. So that's my takeaway, and I really do believe that passion is a boost button for creativity. Also, I want to share with you another story. 2007. 2007, that was the year when Joseph, my son over there, he was 3 years old. My other son, he was 1 year old, and my wife, she was pregnant with my third son. And we're thinking about our life and how our life is changing, and all the parents, they know like what I'm talking about. And that actually we really wanted to create a bond. We really wanted to build a relationship with our children, and we wanted to start early on. And we were like really motivated. We were really passionate about that. We were so excited when our children, very early on, they started to communicate with us at the level of their age, obviously. And in 2008, we started the different plays, scenarios, games, together with my wife, as inspiring ideas and tools for other parents, how actually they can create that relationship, they can create that bond with their children, based on our own experience and based on the experience with our friends. And what she's doing right now, since then, some of you might have heard about the creative place, let's call it this way, called Chuchu in Poland, and outside of Poland called Banana Panda. So she developed so far, based on that passion, based on that ideas, like hundreds, maybe even thousands, different plays, different scenarios for children. The products are present in 25 different countries. In Poland, I can share with you, she's working with MPIC, she's working with Rossmann, she's working with SMIC and all the major. That's because of the passion, which actually was I'm pretty convinced, a boost button for her creativity. And being aware of that, what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to find different ways to building my memory banks, to collect different images, to meet different people, to meet different cultures, to travel. And I also want to share with you my recent projects, recent project. So 6-7 months ago, I started a podcast, a YouTube podcast with my friend, you might know him, Marcin Prokop. And we are exploring, based on our own discussion. Initially, we started, different discussions just between two of us about children, about passion, about storytelling, about entrepreneurship, etc. And I was like really curious of different people's opinion. And then we felt that something is missing, that we want to, meet other people and, get to know other ideas. And we pivot a little bit, and right now there's 3 of us, so we always invite a guest. Extremely inspiring people, and through that podcast, I'm basically collecting my information, my memory banks, for my future creativity. So that's actually what I wanted to share with you. I'm exploring that topic about passion, I'm exploring that topic about creativity. At the beginning of my journey, right now, I started to analyze myself, my own life, and thanks for listening that. I will be happy, to answer any of the questions related to passion or related to creativity, as well like any other, my entrepreneurial life or, other things. Thank you.